What's up, guys? Right now I'm going to be reviewing Colors by Between the Buried and Me. Now, when I first got into Between the Buried and Me, I was listening to the Parallax 2 Future sequence, and that was really what got me into the band. And I've listened to all of the albums since that, and started getting into some of the earlier stuff, and I found this album, and it it's like it just takes you on this journey. Like it starts off like really with this like really slow piano, and it starts to build up, and it starts to when it gets about like into the second track, it starts sort of getting heavier, and you start getting into this total insanity, and it's just with his like sort of almost like Cookie Monster-esque sort of growling vocals, and then he sort of blends that into like clean singing as well, and then he sort of but then there's different ideas working in instrumentally, like with the progressive metal influence, and then some sort of grinding guitars and some breakdowns and then there's a bit of a sort of carnival-esque sort of atmosphere, and it's just a total crazy album, but in like the best possible way, really. I mean, when you get to like track sort of 4 and 5, it's where like you really get into that sort of depth of the record, where it's just absolutely crazy. And then like we're on track on track number 5, Ants of the Sky, where it sort of just like suddenly changes into this sort of country vibe, which is just this is literally insane. And then we go on to prequel to the sequel, which apparently it was like the first single that they put out for this one, so it was like the first taste of the record, and it sort of has that sort of carnival-esque vibe to it at one point, and then so the song I enjoyed on it as well, and then there's the song Viridian, which is like a slow, chilled out instrumental track. And then we get onto the last track, which is a 14-minute long track, which, well, Answer the Sky was 13 minutes, and this one's 14 minutes, so it's really showing that sort of progressive side to them, like, where they do some, like, really long songs, more than what they did on the first 3 albums, but it sort of shifts through these different sections, like, instrumentally, there's like some instrumental passages, and then like for the first few minutes it's got those Cookie Monster vocals, and then going into a more calmer section, and then that sort of insanity starts to build up again, and that sort of and then it sort of like builds up, and then into this sort of really huge breakdown, like that's I mean, I'm not really that into like constant breakdowns, but well, they do it right here. They don't overdo it, and then after that it starts to sort of like go like slow out into the piano at the end. Where I like how it sort of ends just the way it started, really, with the piano, and it's just it has the sort of piano melody from it has the sort of melody from Son of Nothing, which is track number 4, so I like how they sort of brought that idea back right at the end, but in a mellow way to end the record, and to sort of like so it sort of takes you on the journey, like I said, and it's just a really interesting journey with lyrics and everything like that. It's got some really weird lyrics, And yeah, so I think some might consider it as being like that sort of Dark Side of the Moon of the 2000s. I mean, even like looking at the album cover, it even has some influence from that. But it's sort of one of those albums that where they're trying to sort of push some boundaries, and I think there seems to be a bit of Mike Patton influence at times. I mean, it reminds me of him, like how he sort of goes into these really like experimental sections and stuff that you just wouldn't expect them to do, really. And yeah, so I think I'd probably give it like a 9 to like a 9.5 out of 10, because it's just really, really interesting. It's not really an album I would say that you should listen to first by this band. I mean, you might want to listen to Coma Ecliptic or Parallax 2, or maybe that one after that, and then maybe Parallax 1, then Great Misdirect. So I like how the band sort of tries to sort of ease you in nowadays, so you can go and get into the older stuff. I still like the new stuff as well, and then that's what got me into the band. So yeah, so give it a try. So I mean, give the newer albums a try first, I would say. Tell me what you think about the band in general, really, and then in the comments, just feel free to uh, have a chat with me about that, and yeah, and I'll sort of try and reply to your messages. So uh, so stay tuned for the next video, because I'm going to be doing another review, and yeah, so yeah, and hopefully I'll be doing some more covers soon, and maybe another original at some point. And yeah, that's all I've got to say, really.